Ba, 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 bum, 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 bum. I said a prayer this morning, pray now find to another thing. Oh, I'm recovering. Not quite over it. Sometimes the things you guys say. Just need a moment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's too early. Just need- If you see me miming, I'm listening to music, but obviously there's a copyright in that. You man can't be hearing this lovely vocals that I'm enjoying in the background, but you can hear my rendition, which is some would say better. Yeah, I'm not. It is what it is. Say, ooh, you see that? What's that say? Oof. Oh, if this game doesn't work out, I'm gonna go become goddamn singer. Ooh, it's looking good. Even feels good, and all the values are wrong. That's the best. Everything is wrong. Like the values haven't even been re-elaborated, and it's just feeling. It's feeling. It just be. It just be feeling good. You know what I'm saying? It just be feeling good. It just be feeling good. You know, feeling nice. I forgot how good the state of the game was when I left. When I went wait, well, because I wasn't around much this weekend, but now I'm back. It's like it's so good, and I don't even are all the animations like re-elaborated. They're not even. This don't even have distance curves. They're literally not. It's just nice. Who we talking? We talking. Oh my god, it's just so good. It's so good. What the like yo, come on, man. What games are doing this? It's just I need to adjust the animation a bit, the landing time. I need to just adjust it ever so slightly. Just so it lands a little bit earlier. I think we've heavily weighted one. We weight things a bit more. I need to ask Dado about it, but I think that's what the crack is. Because what animation is it? It's the 2 5. This one. Yeah, nothing's changing there, but I think we just have a better algorithm. And with that being said, it's really nice now. It just feels. And the thing is, they're all wrong. Like that shouldn't have a distance offset. It's so many of them are wrong. Like I need to actually go through. Nah. Sorry, clown. None of you are getting a build after all the hate and all the crap you've been saying in the chat. Cool. Fuck all y'all. But nobody's getting a build today. Hear me? Ain't nobody getting a build. You don't get a build, and you don't get a build. Nobody gets a build. All right, let me start re-elaborating. Got to be done anyway, so let me just start off with. I'm gonna just go through the list. I need to do them all, so we'll just go through one by one. Make our way. Elaborate. You do. Yeah, look at these beautiful distance curves. Ooh. See, I already know how to fix this function. Because this one's wrong, right? I take the minimum value, but it's actually incorrect. Because if they're both at rest, I need to take the earliest one and then from there do this one. So what I need to do here is this should actually be if this is less than this. So if the left hand rest time is less than this right hand start resting time, right? Then left hand offset. Otherwise, use the right hand offset. Oh, there you go. So I had to change. That's the correct thing to use. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, once I saw this. Yeah, this is correct. This is hand right distance. Beautiful. So then at hand rest, about 59. What frame is hand rest actually? 066. Oh, this is the right hand distance, sorry. Left hand distance. Roughly correct. Could might need a little tweaking. Hey RCA man, how are you? Elaborate you. So I'm on number 2 now. So rest frame is 066. About 63. About 10 off, it seems. Welcome. Enjoying the party. Enjoying the fun. To be fair, Unreal's been nice to me today. Can't lie to you. So it's just a you problem, you know what I mean? Ooh, I'm in a great mood now. Dum, 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 dum. Two bands and they make me looking nice. It end well. Plus, they know that the friends tell. Feel like Denzel. But at least you don't have like 60 animations to press and impress. For the government. Let's have a look. What did he say? Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the that is literally our plan. In terms of, I think it's yeah, like the yeah, no, vaults themselves wouldn't have different inputs. Like in terms of buttons, that won't work. Um, but yeah, that's what just what we're doing, right? Like different flicks for different moves, more complex moves, more complex flicks, and then we can have modifiers to allow you to um tap into more complex moves. Are you having to modify the animations mocap? No, it's what which is what is crazy. Like we don't have an animator, so we literally this is raw, pretty much unfiltered motion capture data, and it looks like this. Like there's a lot of stuff like when the feet cross over and stuff like that that you can an animator would clean up massively in the animations, but like with just raw unfiltered mocap, it's like looking really clean, um, which is crazy because like, but obviously if we got an animator, it'd be a case of like cleaning up the feet, cleaning up the hands, making the hand poses in each one, so making everything's really clean. Well, the reason why is because we don't have a bunch of Kong front flips. So, in terms of We just put it on the cat pass because we just want to have the full mate, like 4 volts right now. In the future, 100%, obviously, it's gonna have its own input. Um, yeah, that's for certain. It will like all your variations of your volts will all have modifiers and stuff to make it more difficult. Blah blah blah. Um, but yeah, it's like we can't really. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's always been our intention, and it'd have to be because there's just too many moves, right? Like, like then you look at like, what if I want to do a lazy volt this way or different cat pass, slow cat pass, and then we can look at how fast you flick it or determine the speed of the move or the height and stuff like that. So there's loads of variations, but the fundamental principle is that it needs to be, it shouldn't be button presses basically. Basically, button presses are the devil. We must avoid the devil at all costs. That is succinctly put. The Oh crap! I'm so stupid. I should be doing it. Okay, I have to restart. I should be doing the IK as I go through as well, making sure the IK curve is good. Crap. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, those are pretty much fine. I think to be in terms of IK. There's just a couple animations that have some weird kinks in them that I need to. So with this one, right, the left hand needs to start way sooner. Right, it should start similar time as the right hand. So that's the first thing to fix. Mhm. We elaborate that. Boopy, boopy, boopy. Let's do my Discover Weekly. What songs have they got for me? Have a look at this one again. We've got a ton of animation to go through, so it's not going to be the world's most exciting. Yeah, this is much nicer though. Look at this curve. Ooh, grab. And then they finish about similar time. Perfection. Those distance values look correct. And then IK values. This one's actually pretty good. I've seen this animation. Have a look outside. It's actually really nice. Mm-hmm. This one's got a bit snappy, right? It's
Morning, David.
bonjour.
Oh, I had some rice and it got like got s- some rice got stuck in my throat. It was very bad. Like
Oh no!
first time that happens. Like couldn't couldn't
Don't die now!
get him.
Don't die now, Dado. We're too close.
Yeah, that man, rice stuck in the throat. All right then, let's do this.
Um, I'm re-elaborating some animations. Um, we'll re-elaborating the animations.
Oh, on that subject, I think I may have a fix to re-elaborate all animations, which I was
Oh,
doing before. I want.
I mean, I'm doing the IK as well. So,
Okay, okay.
um, but yeah, it's so yeah. I'm going. I had to go through them anyway. I'm just checking all the IK values are correct and then re-elaborate it as I go. So it's not too bad. But I jumped on this morning. Why does it feel so good? Who knows? Maybe it's because I haven't played for a day or two, but it feels really like that. The climbing. Did you change up the matching algorithm by chance or anything around?
Yeah.
I thought so. I
So
thought so.
there are a couple of very key changes. I think the most important one is detecting the falling, now the falling logic. It was always thinking that, like, every time you climb, there was like a couple of frames in which it got the capsule to a radius of 1, and
Hmm.
then it triggered the fall, and then it stopped, and like that was having all sort of side effects around it, and I fixed those, and it's a lot better to like the
Hmm.
climb now. For the most part, like super good. The only thing that I found is that the like if I just hold LT, it would go like some crazy warp. Is that because we didn't get the the new animation be elaborated? Or I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, yeah, because for some it picks a really crazy distance value. Um, so I need to adjust them, and then I also need to no, it shouldn't actually do it because it won't pick it. But I need to do some fixes to the find edge. Like I think it can still do the slide off thing, like and go off into the distance.
Yeah.
So I need to have a look at that. But yeah, I'll debug those problems. I mean, I was just running around
But
my level, and the general climbing sequences were actually beautiful. Like it was actually so good. Um,
yeah. But isn't that yeah, I mean that is something that we may want to fix in the um like properly, but isn't that could just be fixed as like a filtering issue, like if the XY scale is, I don't know, more than 1.5, just don't do it, something
yeah,
like
but
that.
it's because we set the scale when we first pick the animation, and we don't keep updating the scale basically, between thingy and takeoff. But what we actually need to do that, like we need to keep updating the scale right up until the point in which we take off, and then when we take off, that's the scale that we're going to use. So I need to actually I'm gonna revisit all that. Well, that basically all that's updating the ledge and scaling filters up until takeoff. I'm gonna actually do. I need to clean that logic up regardless. So that will come in a bit. So I'll do that later today. That's yeah. But for now, I just want to re-elaborate animations and get these distance curves correct. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. But in general, like when I was just playing this morning, it felt really good. Like I'll be honest with you, it felt really
Yeah.
really.
Oh yes, and then the other fix was yeah, I just found out I was I was basically I needed because the way I normalized the weight,
Hmm.
uh, it was it was completely idiotic because so let's say that like the you go free weights like velocity scale and whatever, but like because we always normalize between 0 and 1, uh, like each weight, like if the so let's say the we go three velocities, right? We go three animation, right? And the velocity was the non-normalized weight. Let's say there was like 1.5, 1.6, and 1.7. Okay,
Hmm.
so they very close to each other, right? Um, then we say, okay, right, but like those are BS. Like let's normalize between 0 and 1. Okay, actually, let's say that we go like 0, 0.79, 0.80, and 0.81. So all these weights they're like very very close to each other, right? I say, okay, right, just normalize between 0 and 1, right? So those will remap between 0 and 1.
Yeah.
So they remapping with the got like the 0.79 would have been 0, and the 0.81 it would be 1. Okay,
Mm.
so if we create a massive scale, well, a massive range in which like
Range.
one was 0, okay, so that would always be picked, right?
Yeah.
Because the minimum was always 0, and
Mm.
and that's not necessarily true because the minimum could be, whatever minimum. Maybe the minimum was very very close to 1,
Yeah.
or very very close to 0. So that completely skewed every
Oh, and
possible
it
way.
would also disproportionate, like, so then, like you're saying, like if the minimum was 0.79 and the max was 0.83, the distance between them is nowhere
Yeah,
near reflected in their actual weight. It's like those are super
exactly.
close to each other, and picking either one would be pretty much correct. But then the weight would be like, well, 0.79 is so much more better than 0.8. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that, yeah, I fixed that. Yeah, that one was I think was like, I don't know, Saturday and Sunday, but yeah, there were a couple of fixes there, and I was a bit worried that it was gonna screw up um the weights on the climb, because I've like retested and retailored on the jumps. But yeah, no, I mean
It's
they work
perfect.
good.
No,
Yeah,
they, literally, they was. It's even better. The weights on the climbs are fantastic now. They're really, really accurate too. Like they're really, really accurate. And now what I'm finding, it's because it's picking better animations. Like the weighting is actually done properly. Um, Everything just looks better. Like we now get that step to step in my level again. Like the double step that we had before.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah,
now have it
exactly.
back, and it's not even like prioritized. It's just like it's just is the best of one in that better one in that scenario. So it's really nice that it's coming back. So it's really cool. Got some really, really nice sequences, at least in my level. I'm excited to try out Sam. So, um,
Yeah, I know it feels good. It feels yeah, it feels that you can chain events almost, like, for the most part it's almost flawless. There is, yeah, I think there is another thing that I want to do on the filtering on the falling, because now that they go now that the weights are behaving properly, I wanna yeah I wanna have another go uh probably tagging and adding probably a couple of parameters to the falling, because sometimes it really choose falling animation that are just not right, and I think we can filter them a lot better than what we currently do. So,
mm,
um, but I'll do that later. Now I'm fixing. There is one outstanding bug for the jumps that I really need to fix, which is jumping over surfaces. So I came to the conclusion that uh, there is no correct way to do it if you don't have coverage. So I think the correct way to jump over a surface um, is to jump not over, but to jump like basically a wall pop, right? And then just as you go from one level to another level, it's
mm,
just do the wall pop, right? This is like uh, there is
yeah,
no better way. Like you start from low and end up high. It's just like we got plenty of those animations, so
mm,
yeah, we need to use them basically. Because any other jumps, they will just never work. It's just like it's just it will break the pose.
Yeah.
Like in one way or another, you will break the pose badly. So yeah, I think the last thing that I want to fix is I really want to have a very robust way to detect where you land, because at the moment it's still uh, it's still non-deterministic. I mean, it gets it wrong, and when he gets it wrong and he does the jump and he lands over like a higher surface, it would just do like crazy things. But fixing that, I think, will be probably the last fix that we do on the jumps. Well, the last big one for this for this release. Um, and I like to go and really try to get the um, that hand offset for the volts. They're like a lot closer to
Yeah.
what it is, because we don't use that the same. Because I think we should use the same thing that we use for the volts, right? To
Yeah,
calculate
hundred
the
percent. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Because I think one thing that's really I think is really key is that we when we did it for the, the cap climb thing,
yeah,
it made such a dramatic difference, right? Um,
yes,
like it literally made such a drastic difference. Oh, I finally fixed this one animation. This was sorry. Yeah, it made such a dramatic difference. So I think it would be almost a waste to not do the same. Well, it's not so much a waste. We have to, right? It's not even like it's not really up for debate in that scenario, like because we see how accurate it made that cat vault animation. So really need to bring that across the vaults to make those scales super accurate. Because now
yes,
that cat
and
vault, like that vault up thing with the cat part, is just it's so accurate. Like even when it's shit, if that makes like even when it's pretty poor, it still looks pretty good. Yeah, it made a world of difference. And I can imagine that just like with a natural good scale across and no skew warp in that as well, it looked really smooth. So I think that'd be really nice.
yeah.
I'm excited, man. It's really coming along. It's exciting times, guys. It's exciting times. So, yeah, I'm gonna go through all these. Hopefully not too too long. Shouldn't really. There's like one or two animations I want to go through that doing some interesting, so to speak, stuff with the yeah, they're doing some interesting stuff um with the root motion. I'll show you once I've done them all. I'll kind of
Yeah.
pinpoint. Let me make notes of which one they are. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was this one. Yeah, yeah, it's this one. So where's my little pen pad? Here we go. Record cards. Look, some notes, kids. Aye, aye, Captain. When is STORROR PARKOUR PRO expected to release? Well, you can play this version now. Well, not really, but this week maybe, next week maybe, one of the two. Depends how nice we're feeling. Probably this week. And then, well, to be fair, once I elaborate this animation, there's really nothing stopping me from doing another update. But, but, I'm wondering if it's just may as well just give it like another day or two and just give you the full shebang. Um, items to check root motion on. Wall pop 31345. But yeah, basically when it full game, 2 years from whenever you ask. That is the official answer.
18 months. Exactly. It's always 18 months away.
Oh, I forgot what animation I was on. I think this one I've done. Yeah. Then I'll do a little bit of eye quay tweaky leaky deek, tweaky tweak, and then we are laughing. Yeah, okay. See, I was wondering why that one looked so funky before. Okay, okay, let's do this properly. So, right hand needs to start up there. Left hand start about there. Bonjour, no J. How art thou on this fine? And then left hand out, right hand out. Elaborate that animation. That's correct. This is highly wrong. Very wrong. Okay, right hand's much better. See, I just want the left hand to start a little bit earlier. Like if this left hand started there and then was like boom, it would look that much nicer. Then it kind of snaps to it a bit. Although it does look pretty good, even with the quicker, like, because then it looks like it goes boom, right, with the short eye kick. So I actually think it might be better. See there, yeah. Oh, that is well. Yeah, cool. I can't stand what I feel inside. Mm. Ugh. Mm, 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 mm. Cool. Ugh. Ugh. Yum, yum, yum. Nice, clean that up nicely. Champagne, crab. This one, like, cool. Yeah, these look pretty good. Nice. Most of them are pretty fine, to be honest. It's just the odd one. Just making sure it's correct. Then we'll sort out the IK rig itself and get that looking spick and span. And it should be better now as well because we do actually. Yeah, because we do actually. Yeah, we do actually. What's it called? Uh, way more accurate on jumps and stuff. So should hopefully really help it. Hey, did you? If I'm thinking, can I elongate the time spent on this wall? Because this should be, yeah, it shouldn't move. Okay, a lot of these are wrong then. In that case, I need to go through and check again now. All right, let me. Just the run ups really where that is the case. Yeah, something like this. It just smooths out way too early. So we'll start from this one here. So what kind of velocity are we looking at here? Oh, you see this here triggers the smooth out. This value of 117, which I'm guessing is the minimum is higher. Yeah, damn man. Damn. Yeah. Oh, I think there might be a few that are like that to me. Okay. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it properly. There's no point in skipping a bunch, you know what I mean? What I'll do is I'll finish the rest of the animation. I'll keep doing it, and then I'll go through all the run ups because those are the only ones that have that issue. I'll go through the run ups and make sure they don't have that problem. Have I done this one? I have. Yeah, I'll do one more first, and then I'll go through the run ups. It's very wrong. I like this one a lot. I'm gonna keep that. Maybe I just need to up it like 150, maybe. Give me more time on the wall. It's probably all you need to do, to be. But I think each one can even be like those values can be way more precise, which I might just do later. No, when I do my next pass of it, I'll do another pass on the IK once I've done that. Then I'll just really take time with each one and get the perfect values by looking at both curves. But I don't want to spend 3 hours on that right now. So quick 30-minute job, get through all the animations, reelaborate. Oh, this one's taking a bit of time. Damn it. Stinks of a crash, this. Ah. Mm. Oh, why you be like that? Why you gotta do this to me? Why can't you just work? Really don't want to. I think I saved everything, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like I saved it. That doesn't look like it needs saving. So yeah, I saved them all. That's fine. Let me rebuild. What one was I on? Oh no, there we go. Okay, these need it needs to be. I need to restart. I think that took ages. So I was on 7937. Let's check this one. Yeah, see the wall posts, they really have an issue like that. It's just the run ups. That one's perfect. Okay, 7937. Pretty much the end of the main chunk of wall run ups. Almost on the second half. Almost there. Alright, 7937. Let's quickly rerun this. Save this one more time. Rerun. Just sometimes after you elaborate a bunch of animations, you just gotta rerun. I always start a stream and become really hungry. It's like my habit. Basically, in this stream, as fun as it is, I want to get all the animations elaborated. Once that's done, I will get food. I only think it's going to take me another 20 minutes. You need to, it's crazy how often you got to clean your controller. Thing does get dirty. Why? Et voila. My little kit. There's a little real. I'll reopen this twice. Yeah, back onto step ups. Step ups don't really have much of an issue, but we'll do it anyway because why the fuck not? Ooh. Yeah, but if it's not, then yeah, if it doesn't have a landing time. Hey Raj, how are you today? This wall pop. I've got two of these. I just don't need to. It's just because now we don't actually differentiate, so to speak. Other than step ups, we don't really differentiate by type, so to speak. But I'm gonna leave it for now in case we ever do come back to a point of differentiating by type. Maybe that's variation things or whatever it is. Um, maybe quick exit or the type of veil, stuff like that. Um, so I might actually leave both for now. Well, that seems quite wrong to me. Because if they can be applicable to both, then that logic does not stand. Let's not do that. Let's not be shitty with it. I'm gonna delete. Wait, do I have a 278? I do. Yeah. I'm gonna delete you. Yes. And then ba-dum-bum. Hey Chad, how are you today, man? What are you getting up to? What's the life? How's life? How's living in life? Kadosh. I wish YouTube just let you play music, man. What? It makes no sense. The vibes, because then I could just play it loud. I hate not having loud music. Because I don't want his voice, the singer's voice, to come through. It's just very annoying. I don't want to put headphones on. I really should have just put headphones on. Beautiful. Me too. I feel like the devs are just taking the piss now. Fucking Dado. It's all Dado's fault. And guns. It's not me though. It's not like I have a bunch of animations still to elaborate. It's honestly. If it was up to me, I'd have released the full game by now. Nah, I'm joking. We're coming soon. It'll be worth the wait though, right? When it's nice and it's doesn't break after 5 minutes, you guys will be loving it. You'll be like, I'm so glad you took your time, guys. Like, thanks for making the playable experience more enjoyable. Just bear with us. It is coming though. I promise. And when was the last time I said something was coming soon and I did not deliver? Hmm? It's not like we said 010 was coming. Oh, fantastic. Ooh, we already elaborate this one? We've not, because it doesn't have a distance curve. Honestly. At this point, I feel weird when he doesn't ask. Yeah, so that's what we're so we're basically what we're doing now. So like you can vote instantly straight back to back really easily now, but it has to be on surface same ground. What's difficult is when you land and then want to vote instantly. So that's what we're working on now. With the falling. So you actually have it so you can exit out of the fall. But basically the problem we had was like the falls were too catastrophic, so to speak. So like a lot of falls will result in rolls. And falls were just before you had to finish the entire fall before you could do what else you did next. That's not the case anymore. You can chain into something. Um, it's just about what I think is there needs to be a period in which you can do that. If and that's all about timing your moves and stuff like that. So like say if you roll, you're not gonna do that, right? So if you drop from a certain height, you do need to roll or blah 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 or whatever it is. But I think we're gonna make it so that rolls are we're gonna make it so rolls you actually have to trigger a roll, like, which will make it more difficult. But then it also allows you to like if you don't want to roll and you want to change something better, you shouldn't roll every time. But it's also a common. We also just need a little bit more cap, I believe. The falls, especially ones where you keep going. So yeah, yeah, for sure. The flow is really nicer. I mean, my favorite thing to do is just climb around. To be honest, oh, you can do that now. You can vote back to back. Well, last version before that, you could do that pretty easy. Like I did a video where I did like 11 walls and I speed stepped them all back to back to back. You gotta get timing right though because you could input like right immediately during an animation. And basically, currently we like hold your input for like a little bit of time, but so you can input like when the animation starts, and they just won't pick it up because you inputted too early or you did it too late and you ran into a wall and you were too close and blah blah. So if you want to do like consecutive, there's gonna have to be a little bit of time in your inputs. So it's like as I'm landing, trigger the next one. So you gotta get used to that. It's gonna be like so doing like super complicated moves back to back. It's it's also the level doesn't really allow for it. When we're talking with Drew about it, we actually did mention this. The level doesn't really allow for consecutive volts because it does not that it doesn't allow, but there isn't much area to do so. Like there isn't like really an area where you can just vault over and over again on flat ground, which is what feels nicest, quite frankly. But this level is more of what you'd actually get in parkour and in real life. Um, but I think it is a lot of fun to just be able to just vault back to back. And so, um, definitely gonna have to look in some ways of incorporating. This is so much fun. Like I just love doing this so much. Like I know you guys are so jealous. Like this is the glamorous part of making games. Oof. Yay! I've reached the second section bit now. Just all these to go. To be fair, a bunch of these are just a case of just click and re-elaborate. A bunch of these I don't even need to re-elaborate actually, because they're just step ups. So it's not really much of an issue. They don't have any IK on it. So but just un problematic, un poco loco. Um, Not sure what I'm doing. Basically, what I'm doing is so all these curves we use at runtime to basically decide on what animation to use. Like these are distance curves, height curves. They give us data about the animation that we can use in our matching algorithm. So I'm gonna be elaborating it so it updates the animations. Like we're gonna have it where you can just. I think that is working out a bit like where you can just re-elaborate all at once. But for now, we're just doing one at a time. But then I'm also doing these IK curves. So these curves, basically, what I do is when IK inverse kinematics. If you guys, I mean, I've talked about it loads, but I'll talk about some more. Really care. Um, Basically, this drives. So basically, there's two ways you can do kinematics or pull a hand to a position, a bone to a specific point in the world, right? You can either do forward kinematics, which is where you calculate like joint rotations and settings for the bone, and like based on that, it will move the bone to a position like in the world based on this. So it's like rotate this X or thing Y and do blah 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 to calculate. Um, and you go forward in your chain, right? So it'd be like shoulder rotate X, thingy rotate Z, thingy rotate Y, and that'll move your bones, whatever. Or you do inverse kinematics, which is the opposite, when you start from a location in the world and it calculates backwards through the chain to figure out, well, then it calculates how those values for you to like, but it's all based off an endpoint in the world. Um, so yeah, and it's called your effector location. So your effector location is like your bones. These are things that cause the movement, and then you have your target location, which is where you're trying to move it to. Um, I believe. I'm pretty sure your effector is what moves the thing. Something like that. Something like that. But basically, yeah. So with this, when you have your rig and your IK, your full body IK, which basically takes into account all the bones, and you can put different settings to be like the shoulder bone, the clavicle can rotate this way on the x-axis, this way on the y-axis, and this way on the z-axis. All those settings to basically restrict your movement, and so when it's calculating how each one should move, it'll take into account all that stuff there. What we do though is basically to say, rather than just turn it on and off and be like, go to this point, don't go to this, be at that point, don't be at that point, because that would cause snappy movements. So your hands like move gradually to a point. If I said grab the camera, you go like that. Right? The problem is if I just say grab the camera, IK on, it will just go boom and like grab, like literally just instantaneously just grab the camera, which is completely wrong. But then if I just put a random, so what a lot of people do, well, they'll have just a lerp or like an interpolation between your current point and your target point. So over time, it will move between where you are to that point. The issue with that is that your body doesn't move like in a linear way. So I can't just say over 2 seconds, go to that point. Like, you mean like the way you move in different parts of your movements don't work like that. So there's points at which you'll accelerate towards the point, decelerate towards the point, blah, blah, blah. And then there's times where you want to maintain your hand on that point, and then there's times when you want to start to pull away and stuff like that. So it's quite tricky to be like on and off. And when you want to turn off, go off in 2 seconds, and when you want to turn on in 2 seconds. You lose, although it will work, you lose a ton of precision that is gained from the actual motion of the animation. So to avoid that, we use curves in the animation to dictate like how much on something is. So when my hand should be at the wall or at the point I want to touch, my alpha value will be 1. And so then what we can do is then we can specify, okay, at what point in the motion should we start going towards that point. So we set the frame here so you can see like, okay, when my hand starts to swing towards the point, now like in real life, if you think of when I'm doing, which is a wall pop, right? So when do you pick your hand location, right? It's when you start to bring your hands towards the wall. So you're like spotted it, and then that's where you're going to. So at that point, I want to start turning on my IK, because an IK alpha of 1 means it's at the location, right? So as I start to move my hands towards the point, it's now basically saying start pulling towards that location. So, but by doing it in the curves, I don't have to be like, because the problem is the number value, right, of how long this interpolation is. Because we just use a linear one for now, right? You either generalize it, but that is tricky because some animations might want to get there in 1 second, Might want to get there in half a second. Might want to get there in 3 seconds. You don't know. So to figure out a number for that covers all cases is completely like it's unless you have a bunch of different rigs for each animation, which is just impossible. It's easier when you just use like say you have 10 animations to cover all your scenarios. It's fine because then 10 animations they're roughly going to be similar. It doesn't really matter. The second you have hundreds, you can't do that because it will just so many will be wrong. So we use the curves instead to basically specify based on like the velocities of like okay when does my hand start to like I specify like when do I start to accelerate towards my target location. Well, first we say when is the hand at rest, and that's when the velocity of the hand is below a certain point. So we say like here, and then so that's when the hand is at rest. And then to specify when we want to start, we select manually like okay, we can realistically do this in through like code and automate it so that it picks the fastest point of acceleration to go towards that. Issue is that's not necessarily always the case. Like there's a couple outliers because a hand could be like accelerate quickly to just something that is then to the reach. So you could be like right, and your quickest point of acceleration might be going to that wall, but that's not the IK point I care about. So it becomes a bit techy. So doing it manually is a bit more accurate. And then yeah, we create this little curve you see here that is like when it's 1 it's on, when it's 0 it's off, and then we accurately are able to turn it on and off. So this will simulate pulling to the point. Yeah, I hope that explained it well enough. If not, too bad, not my problem. I'm joking. Let me know if any part of that was confusing. Probably all of it. Step ups. I don't think I really need to re-elaborate step ups. I mean, I will do just so the data is correct. But I need to check the IK cards because they don't have any. And even if they did, they don't get IK doesn't get called on step up, so it don't matter. There you go. Like, I guess it depends how. I think the one issue is with those configuring those bone settings can be quite tricky because the human body moves in really complex ways. Like it's really hard to just say like it doesn't move more than this and this, and it doesn't necessarily always mean that the way you move in this scenario is the ideal situation. Like you need to like it can be quite techy trying to configure it all. You'd think Unreal would just give us like a bloody generalized. Why the hell has got no IK curve? I don't like that. I don't like that. I really don't like that. Not a fan, you know. Actually, does have values at all. The fudge? What is this on? At what point do you plant your hands? Here. I wonder though if this animation is better left off with no IK. Just because it doesn't plant his hands for long enough. Like I've seen this animation actually play out, and it doesn't plant his hands for long enough where that would make me think that maybe it's not best for IK. That's what I'm thinking. Because it's so rapid when it plants its hands, and we know this is going to be quite accurate regardless. I might leave this off. I think will look better. Ropey decision that, but gonna go my gut instinct. My gut tells me to do less work. Whoa, jump. Oh yeah, sweet. I'm into fun animations now. I'm hearing it. Yeah, this and the 64.6. Yeah, we need to actually specify when I want to blend in. Yeah, okay. So I think. Ooh, let's go to you. So this is like a Kong to a pop up. It's really a Kong. I'm using it as a wall pop for now because we don't have that much of a distinction in terms of the moves. But later down the line, we'll be able to specify as we get more animations and more coverage. There'll be an input for this to be like, I want to climb by vaulting or some shit, or do a vault climb kind of thing. At the moment now, it's just a wall pop, but it's like a Kong pop thing. But it's just like a diving wall pop basically. Let's have a nicer blending on this. Let's say blending really should be blending in. I don't know. I don't want to blend in while he's just going in there because I don't want him to be like, you know what I mean? Or although that could be cool. I guess blend in once you've really taken off. Now start to guess on the downward motion of the body. So at climax, which is like the left hand in, right hand in. Yeah, literally just slap your knees on that thing. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, that's a far nicer looking curve, isn't it? And when you're doing a curve way, you have to just be mindful of like the more frames it takes to blend in, the smoother the blend is going to be because the actual position it's pulling it to is less away from the pose's position. So it's more true to pose, I guess, as we go over time. But um, that's not always, but then it could be quite pose accurate. So one of the earlier versions, or the version you have, is it the version you have? Might be the version you have. Yeah, it might be the version you have. Um, yeah, it's the version you have. Oh god, the version you have sucks so much, especially with Khan. I'm just thinking about it. It's actually terrible. Whoever released that should get fired. Um, yeah, it's just super. Yeah, the main issue is that so before we were scaling. So basically, the change we made, right? I'll just run you through it, explain it. The change we made was before when we were scaling our climbs, right? We just did one generalized scale across the entire motion, right? Between takeoff and landing. Now the issue, which meant that it would get or land at the correct point, which is correct. Issue there is that you're different, and although I'm scaling the root motion, The problem is I'm only scaling the root motion of the root, right? Which means that the rest of my body, however, moves in different ways, right? So like I need to be at certain points at certain times, but by just saying 1.5 the root, the rest of my body is not necessarily going to be at certain points in different times unless the root allows for that. So if I say like, say I need to put my hands there, right? If I haven't jumped, right? And so in the animation, I'll show you a perfect example. Um, what am I on? 8361. I've got a couple left to do. This one looks pretty good, so we'll go on this one next. Um, let's do 287 first. This is a perfect example. So if you see here, right, where my hands on the wall, right? Now, if this wall is now, say, if you actually look at the distance or traveled in the air, let me turn off root motion for now. If you want me to shout, just let me know. But if you actually look at the distance traveled in the air when my hands reach the point of the wall, it's like this, right? It's like a little bit here. Now, if this wall is twice as high, right? Like it's up here, right? And I say scale from landing to root 2 times, right? So at the point at which it lands, so like at the point at which here, I want it to land up here or whatever, right? Or up here, or just twice as high. Now, at the point at which I take off, right? So if I'm saying I want you to land up here, right? Nice and high up here, right? Now, I'm saying root, I want to scale you between takeoff and landing 2 times across the motion, right? That means whatever thing in like root motion, if I move up 10, I'm going to move up 20. If I then move up 30, I'm going to move up blah, blah. So that the actual doing that will scale it by 2. So you'll end up on a wall twice as high. Problem is, which is what you did before, and this is why the IK was so working so hard, was that if I say scale 2 times, this jump here, right, the normal one, scale of 1, the guy thinks the wall is here, right? Because I'm only scaling the root. And if I say, okay, root, from this point to this point, you're going to double, right? Because we're scaling it by 2. So this will now end up like here, right? Sort of where the knee is, right? Or knee, pelvis, around that region. The problem is, so if I'm ending up at the knee to pelvis region or whatever, right? The issue is the wall is like up here, right? Now my character is only going to move up a tiny bit when he thinks he's going to be at the wall, because the scale is the scale of the general, like the full motion. Problem with that is because I'm saying like at the end of the at landing you need to be at the height of the wall. That's correct, but it's wrong because in the animation I actually need to be at the height of the wall once my hands want to grab it. That's when I actually need to be at the height of the wall, not just when I land, but when my hands grab it. That's the problem. So if I don't scale to the appropriate height, like offset of the root, so that the wall is here and then my root is here, if I don't scale to that distance so that when I double it, it's down enough where my hands can be on the wall, which we don't do right now, you'll get this problem where the hands will just be inside the wall. And so before we were using IK as the solution for that, right? And they were saying, oh, IK moved to the wall. The issue is that is almost deforming the pose by like 50%, right? The IK is trying to do too much, and IK really only works in like a 5 to 20% range. Like you don't want it to, because at that point it's trying to make a new pose, and if it tries to make a new pose, like that's when you're gonna ask for problems. Like as a rule of thumb, like IK shouldn't, like IK should complement animations, not make them, right? Like don't let IK be what makes an animation an animation. An animation needs to be its own thing, and IK should complement it by providing great accuracy for the fine details. And that's when IK looks really good. When you start using IK as a driving force for what your animation it looks like and what it's going to do, that's you're asking for issues and you're asking for complexity. So because we were doing that before, like there was a significant point of time where the hands would just be inside the wall, and then the IK would have to go whoop, and it would just look super crazy because then you had to be hyper precise with all your bone settings. Stuff was getting twisted. All the bone, like we had to go through every single bone and edit the settings and how much it could turn. And then sometimes, as you see, it just couldn't get there. Like the IK is like, well, with all these settings, I cannot reach that point because it's so deformed, especially if you have a big scale. So it's just like it's just gonna look off. The hands wouldn't be at the wall. It's just gonna look shit. What we changed is now we scale from here to here, basically hand plant. And then we find, okay, well, given the wall is now here, how far down does my root need to be? Okay, my root needs to be here. Now scale this distance to this distance to give me the accurate Z scale. And then we do the same thing for the forward vector. Rather than saying, oh, like, I need to move it at this point. It's like, well, no, when are my hands grab? Where do I need my root to be? There, set it up. Another issue that we fixed this week was before we didn't take into account. We were like, oh, well, the wall is 200 away and I jump 100. The wall is 2 meters away. I jump 1 meter here, scale it by 2. It's actually wrong. Because the wall is not 2 meters, it's not 1 meter away here. The wall is 1 meter plus whatever this offset is. Because that's where the wall actually is, right? Where your hands are. So there was a tiny little discrepancy here in your math, which can drastically not only affect the scale, but then because our thing is really heavy on like math and logic and things need to be right, it then like cascades down, because if your data is wrong, then your filtering value is going to be wrong. So the wrong animations can be included in the filter. Then also we weight animations based on how close or how accurate they are, right? Your feature vector against your like desired vector. That is then going to be wrong. So then you're going to get into a habit of picking not non-optimal, non-heuristic animations, which makes your system shitter, right? Because the whole thing is that we picked the best animation, and then the data was wrong, so it's picking worse animations. But then we fixed all that, so pretty much, and it made all the difference in the world. Yeah, 100%. So this is where that balance of like mocap to IK and all these things, they all play their part, right? But you need to all use them all. Like, don't ever become overtly required, like reliant on one system. Like, so the adjustment of the animation should not also drive the pose. So it's like, try and work if you can within, like, I'm trying to think of a rule that could be useful, but like, don't ever think like, okay, it's only gonna work if we only have mocap. We have to mocap every single height, every single distance, every single thing. It's impossible. There's no way you're gonna do that. It's just not possible, right? So don't rely on that. Then you can't say, okay, if we don't have it, we're gonna use IK. That's impossible again. There's too many scenarios that's wrong. I say, okay, if that doesn't work, we're gonna just scale it. It's like, well, again, you can't rely on that wholly, because if scaling something by 2 times, it's gonna look crap. You have to use them all in the appropriate balance so that you could create enough coverage for all the different scenarios. So it's like, okay, well, look, we have mocap for a 1 meter wall, 1.5 meter wall, and a 2 meter wall, okay, and we have all the distances going on. That's all cool. Then we say, okay, you know what? IK works well between a 5 to 10% range. So that sort of gives us, say we then, okay, so then we say, okay, we can scale anywhere between 0.9 times and 1.2 times, right? So that means we can now have, from our 1 meter wall, we say 1.2, we can have a 1.2. So now we have 1.2 to 0.9. And then we say, okay, well, our 1.5, we can scale that down a bit. So now we have like a 1.4 to, or like 1.3 to to 1.7, right? And then we say for our 2, we have a 1.8 to 2.2, right? We have that range in terms of acceptable scaling. So all of a sudden now, okay, we have a bit more coverage. You might say, okay, let's insert a couple more animations to fill some of the holes that we don't have in the scale, right? Say it's like 1.35. That's a bit pushing on the scale. Let's try and get a 1 meter animation, a 1.2, a 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, and 2 meter, right? So you're already like significantly decreased the number of animations you need. And then we say, okay, we know these will cover a reasonable scale all in there, and we'll minimize it, right? It's going to be able to find an animation and just minimize what scale we need, right? So say we pick the wall height is 1.35, right? And it has an animation of 1.2 and 1.4. It's going to say, okay, well, the 1.4 has a smaller scale, so we'll pick that one. But we have enough coverage in case it fluctuated between. Then we say, okay, we're off a little bit on the scale. Now we insert the IK to be like, create that additional accuracy for that 10% that we know we're within because we limit the scale, right? So they all balance together to try and create that range of coverage. And then I guess the really thing that we're going to look at later is about procedurally generating these animations to give theoretically infinite coverage, right? So it's like rather than having to scale things, we say, okay, well, procedurally generate an animation that goes, well, how high is the wall? 1.8? 1.8 meters. And it will do it perfectly, right? And it will adjust based on all these different things and AI, blah, blah, all this stuff. And it will make that height animation we need. But yeah, it's a balancing act to never become too reliant on any single thing, so that your system can be complete. You can cover a wide range of scenarios, but you don't need, like you said, as I said, you don't need thousands of mocap animations because then it's impossible to manage, and it will just performance-wise, it'll just start to tank your system. So that's why we do the scale, and that's why we do the warp and stuff to adjust for all that stuff. The later down the line, I think we're definitely going to look at trying to find a way to procedurally inject animations that are basically perfect scenario stuff. Whew. Mouth is dry. Yeah. I think, I mean, to be honest, like I remember starting, I didn't know nothing about the code, so I think it's important to for people to understand the decisions you make and why you make them. Right, it's important to um because I like to think of it like in a non-technical way, like just make it make sense. It's like common because it is. It's not like you can overcomplicate it. It's very easy to just I'll overcomplicate it and be like, oh, effectors and XZ scales and rotators and quaternions and all this stuff. It's like if you're looking at IK, it's like, okay, I want to get to a point. I want to reach a point. Let me reach it gradually, and the speed at which I need to reach there doesn't depend on just a static number. So let's find out how fast you need to do it using these curves in the animation, which track the hands, and that's how you get IK curves. It's just like simplify it. Not only does it help, because that's also why we stream, right? Like we stream to like give you guys an insight into what we're doing, why we're doing it, and as much as it helps you guys, what people don't realize. That's why I talk through my stuff. As much as it helps you guys, it helps me learn. Like, because I'm still learning. This whole process for me is a learning process as well, right? So we're all learning here. So as I talk through it, and I'm having to actually like think, why do I do that? I do this because of this. Why do we do IK? Why do we have mocap? So it helps getting asked the questions and then responding. But if you want to be shut up, just mute me. These curves need. Right hand start. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's because I did this. Being very stupid. I don't think 100 is gonna solve it. I think I need to put that at 80. No, taking ages now. Hmm. Not really. That make a difference? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Probably didn't. I don't think it would. Yeah, it did a little bit, but there's still this little frame here that's 0.83 that needs to be eliminated from discussion. So let me save you all first. Then I'm just gonna quickly, it's because it needs to just be below 80. Hey Aura, how are you, man? Or man, or non anything. Don't know. I'm just gonna call you Aura. How are you today? What is what is up with you? What have you been getting up to? You love Stora. That is good. We all love Stora in this stream and in this Discord. Um, and Stora love you. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's taking ages to elaborate, and while it does, I am cleaning out my controller. I need to do once a week because general just life and dirt just gets up in there. You know what I mean? Need where's my fine? Like a really like thin thing that is used for like mobile SIM protectors. Protect. Like, here it is. This guy. This is the magic tool. Right here, it gets all up in there. That's sort of scratched plastic a little bit, but it's worth it because it's all the crap and dirt. I recommend anyone with a controller doing this once a week. Speak for yourself, Noma. I'm no nerd. Just live and breathe the game. Noma's is a PhD, so he's definitely a nerd. I guess he did the biggest nerd here, to be honest. Massive nerd. Massive nerd. Crazy how dirty it gets. No, what? Last, I think it's like a month ago. It's really. It's so satisfying. Oh my goodness, that is like ASMR. It's like all the dirty and all that. That is literally ASMR. This thing is taking ages to elaborate. My God. Okay, go back to the way now. It's not done yet. Still, wow. I knew I should just restarted. I don't know why I just didn't. Oof. Controller is the best feeling ever. There we are. After 10,000 years. I'm enjoying my controller ASMR. Very clean. Beautiful. Okay, let's check this out. Should now not have that little kink in the curve. Look at you. It's beautiful. See, this is the tricky part because here I want to include you, but I don't want to include you. So you just kind of have to get a trigger and blend out. There's some changes we can make in the code actually to improve that. To be honest, but we'll do that another time. Not right now. Let me quickly rebuild. I'm on 15271. Everyone make a mental note of that for me. Thank you very much. So hungry. Nerds are the shit. So true. Nerds unite. I'm not a nerd. And if I'm a nerd, I'm a cool nerd. Unlike the rest of these guys. Well, this game has turned me into complete, like, I don't even know. Like, I'm not even I wouldn't say I'm an introvert because I'm actually very good in social scenarios. Like, I could talk to anyone really. Um, so I never really said I'm introverted. And so, like, I'm not able to talk to people in social. I'm actually very good at it. But I do not like it much anymore. I'm very much more content being in my room. That's what this game's done to me. It's made me hate. Like, I was out this weekend. I was just like, oh, I hate people. I just hate human beings, which I think that's just a lot of people these days. It's just they're just ugh. You know what I mean? Humans are just ugh. So ugh. I was in Clapham. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Clapham. Don't at all. And it's not even, but it is. You know what I mean? It's not, but it is. Like, it's just a bit of an unpleasant. It's just a bit of a ugh place. You know what I mean? It's just ugh. It's a bit ugh. It's very ugh. Do you know what I mean? It's just like ugh. Honestly, like ugh. So ugh. That's what that is literally what I'm saying. You know the vibes. It's just ugh. It's also ugh. You know what I mean? It's just a bit ugh. Just can't be awesome. It's just humans are just extra. We're just a bit ugh. Smelly and like I was at Clapham and I went to a friend's birthday on Saturday Um, is doing something for his birthday. Um, and it was just like there's just people throwing up everywhere. I was like, oh, for God's sake! It was just so, yeah, it was just so ugh, so ugh the whole time. Ugh. Think about it, I'm just like ugh. Ugh. Like someone threw up in McDonald's. I was in a McDonald's because I was this point. I'd sobered up at this point, and I was like, okay, I've got to go. Time to shoot off. Um, I was like, oh, I will get some garlic cheese bites though for the way home because it's a bus. Because I'll go back to Fulham. I was like, garlic cheese bites, yes, please. Because just someone's just getting sick, it throws up in the McDonald's. But I'm just like, oh my goodness, oh. And I don't want to judge people. Like, do your thing and live your best life. But the Mackey's bin, like, ugh, you're better than this. You're better than that, Harry. You are better than that. Ugh. Think about it, grosses me out. See, none of these animations really had good curves, which is crazy because they actually looked okay. Yeah, do you know what is with McDonald's, right? I always say about them, it's just you know what you're getting. Like, that's why people go to them, really, because you know what you're getting when you go to a Mackey's. It's not a is it gonna taste like shit. You just know sometimes, and sometimes I'll be straight. Sometimes the Big Mac just be hitting. The Big Mac be hitting like oh, sometimes like you know when you just get like a cheese the little cheese bite share box that does hit differently. It does hit differently. Little 20 chicken nuggets, sweet and sour sauce. What a just a classic double cheeseburger. Double cheeseburger. Stop it. Honestly, making me hungry. I actually need to go put food in. I should have done that an hour ago. I'm so stupid. I literally should have done that an hour ago. So that once I finish these animations, it'd be ready. Oh, sometimes I don't think. Blame Noma for my. We're gonna do that now. 2 seconds. I'll be right back. In the meantime, yo, bro. When I say Mackey's ain't cheap, do you know what I spent? I spent £10 for a garlic share box, chips, uh, um, double cheeseburger, and freaking fillet fish fillet. Was it mayo chicken? Mayo chicken? Yeah, mayo chicken. £10. £10. Are you mad? £10. Them 4 items. It's a cost of living crisis. I'm telling you. £10. Must be crazy. Must be crazy. 10 whole pound. Try and get for £10. That's crazy. That is crazy. Even Greg's, man. Greg's a steak bake. Small steak bake. Yeah? Small steak bake. I'm here paying 185. £1 85. Can you imagine? £1 85. Must be crazy. It must be crazy. Still deep that. 185 for a steak bake. 185 for little, just small little steak bake. I'm paying 185. Must be crazy. I mean, obviously, I get two because you get a steak bake and a chicken bake. I mean, you can't go to Greg's and not get a steak bake. And then if you get a steak bake, the chicken bake feels lonely. So you have to get the steak bake and they come together. You know what I mean? There's no point in putting them differently. If you get a steak bake, you get a chicken bake. It's like, it's got to be done. You know what I mean, mate? It's just, I love them kind of guys, man. To be honest, you know what I mean, mate? You go to Greg's, get a steak bake, get a chicken bake. It's just simple things. Got to be done. It's just got to be done. Yeah, head home with the missus, couple points. They're actually so funny, man. Them man, do you know what the craziest thing? Yeah, those guys are some of the nicest people. They'll chat to anyone, man. They'll talk your ear off as well. I remember during uni, I worked at this like gym company, like designing and installing gyms. And we used to go to like onto the site sometimes to see the stuff being installed. Them construction guys, man. Them brothers don't do no. They're professional procrastinators. Oh God, if I was to build a yard, I'd do it myself. Because I know these men are just professional procrastinators, bro. Like this guy would be like, "Have a coffee, Dave." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go on, mate. Yeah, I'll get a coffee. How's the kids? How's the kids? I mean, I'm 21, but no kids, bro. Yeah, no, the missus drive me nuts. Drive me nuts, she is. Actually drive me nuts. It's crazy, mate. It's absolutely crazy. Driving me absolutely nuts. Where is this animation? What? You're northern. I forget. I forget. Scouser? Chicken and a can of coke. Oh, Liverpool, funny place. Where you're from? You're from All, aren't you? You're from All. I'm from All. I don't know how they talk up in Hull. To be fair, I played rugby there a couple times, but I have no clue how they talk. How do they talk in Hull? It's like from All. I said I've met you, Noma, so I should really know, but clearly I was paying attention. Where is Josh? Oh, look at him. He's all the way over there. All. I'm from All. I actually don't know where Josh is. Can anyone see Josh on the screen? I saw him a sec. I think he's over. He's there. I'm from All. I knew it. See, I told you. Oh, so funny. I just knew it. I'm from All. Oh, they're funny people. Funny people, like, not humans. That species up there. Oh, funny, funny, funny. I'm from All. Yeah, I'm from All, mate. Yeah, mate. All. Yeah. I don't know who that is. Oh, was it Newcastle? On the tune. On the tune. You absolutely fucking Raji. Bunch of Rajis. I watched Geordie Shore. That's where my people say like, where are you getting your Newcastle accent from? It's like your perception of it. I'm like Geordie Shore, and I know you're thinking, why would such a sophisticated young gentleman watch Geordie Shore? It's because it's great. It's terrible TV, and I hate that I like terrible TV. Like I've not watched this year's Love Island because I refuse to subscribe to it. It's just too fake. I'm probably at one point gonna binge it. I'll be straight. I'm just gonna watch all 10 episodes or something like that, but probably this weekend. What? Who said that? Not me. Have I elaborated this already? Yeah, not as north, not as north as the north. The no, the north remembers. Yo, don't even Love is Blind, bro. Oh yeah, I can talk about that show all day long. And that is even the worst. That's the worst one as well, no way, you know what I mean? That's the worst television. It's the worst one. But man, I could watch that thing over and over again. It's terrible. It's so trashy. It's trashy television. We know it's trashy television, right? But we watch it still. We know it's trashy television. I know it is. You ain't gotta tell me to. I know it's terrible television. But man, it got me in a chokehold. I'm trying to think this season. What happened this season? What happened this season in Love Is Blind, bro? Oh my god, what happened? Who was on it this year? Now, please remind me. Who was on it this year again?
No, David.
Yep.
Just a quick note.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are you saving the animation uh, from time to time?
Yeah.
Just because not really trusting the stability of that. If you go into the detail panel um, of the of the of the human toolkit, if you just do window detail, there is a there is a flag to save at uh, each elaboration, which I think for the most part you want to you want to really have it on, and so
Oh, I know what you're talking.
it's a
I
little
know what you
bit
mean because it deletes the animation, but then if it crashes or it doesn't save or you close
yeah.
it doesn't save. No, it's because I had that. I actually save after every time. So I don't know if you've noticed. After every elaboration, I've been doing
Oh
Control Shift
really?
S
Okay.
because it's not also not only saving this one because you need because I remember there's like up to like 4 to 8 animations that get generated right because of the mirror, the montage mirror,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, because I remember doing it one time. I made changes, and then I only saw negative stuff on here, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Exactly. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, "This can't be. This can't be." Yeah, no, yeah, I've been doing that now. Thank you for the heads up though.
Okay. I'm gonna check in. I did the change that makes you re-elaborate all the animation of one kind without crashing, which is a
Oh,
big
lovely.
yes.
Easy love to hear.
I'm gonna check it in,
Oh, sweet.
and then I'm gonna move on the jumps.
Cool.
But
I'm gonna
that was
quickly.
pretty good code.
Yeah, no, nice. So I'm gonna quickly finish this. Then we'll grab put some food in, and then work a little bit more on the IK, and then I'm gonna move on, clean up some of the code I do, and then I'm gonna work on that takeoff and all the stuff that basically that climb analyze function. What ledges we do and all that stuff, any weird warps and all that crap. It's the next
Oh
thing
yeah.
really got to address.
I think we're really there, to be honest.
Really are. Like I mean, I'll be honest. Just from what I was playing earlier, the the feel of it is crazy good. So just from what I was like personally, I was playing, in my opinion.
No, it's super good, right?
SK, yes, bro. So it was SK, Zenob, and what's his name, Cody. Oh my god, there were so many. There was Zenob and thingy, SK. Oh, what's his name? Um, is it Corey or Cody? Then there was the big light skinned dude. Oh my god, that said Raven's Peng. You're not, but I'm still gonna marry you. It's huh? Like, are you good? Yo, I totally forgot about all that. It's not the best. I'll be honest though, it's not the best season I've seen. Not the best season I've seen at all. Best season, best ever season has to by far be the what's it called? That what's it called season? The well, there's so many good. My favorite. What's the one with what's his name? The dude that was like Colin Barty. That's the one. Colin Barties. That's it. I love how you have the names on deck. You watch that show too much. You had the names on deck ready. You are a Love Is Blind fanatic. You even know him and Raven stands up some publicity on. Oh, I love it. I love it, man. That's funny as hell. Um, Colin Barties, yeah. Barties was moving crazy. That guy was actually moving mad. Some of the stuff, like that when he was like, oh, like obviously I'm obviously attracted to Raven. Like she's smoking hot and like, you know, in real life, like me and her would definitely get together. It's like you're engaged, but you know, there's something there. Like she just doesn't. What the truth was, she didn't like him. So that was the real carrot on the cake. Love is blind subreddit. Oh, I love that so much. That's funny as hell. Um, yeah, that's hella funny, man. That's made me laugh. That has made me laugh. Um, that's funny as hell. No, yeah, but yeah, 100%. Like, that stuff was hella funny. And then what's it called? You know the Cole and Zenith thing when the I tell you what, the producers are evil. How are they gonna? How are these men really gonna be like? Oh, you know what? Then the Cole was like, show us the Ersties story or whatever. What was it? Hershey's, Urkies, Earlies, Ersties. What was the story? Hershey's, Ursies, Ersties, Hershey. I don't know what it was. It was some kind of story thing. He was like, please air the something story, Ersties or Hershey's or something like that. Ersties, sorry. Um, and then they did. Not during the thing, because then they were all like, "Oh my god, Cole, I can't believe you did that." Yeah, the oranges, right? And he was like, "Save your appetite, because I'm gonna feed you real good tonight. We're going for steak. I can't wait for steak." And she was like, "I haven't eaten anything." He's like, "Why? You should eat more food." And then she was like, "Oh, you tried to tell me that I'm fat and I eat too much." And everyone was like, and he was like, "No, I didn't. You're lying." And she's like, "Oh, you calling me a liar?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's crying and be like, "I'm so sorry. Yeah." And that's what I'm saying. He was controlling the eating. And then he was like, that did not happen. And she was like, oh, so it's okay, Cole. I'm a liar. I'm a liar. And I was like, raw. And he was like, none of this happened. It's all crazy. And I was like, okay, fair enough. And don't get me wrong, yeah. I thought Cole was immature as hell. The guy was not ready to get married. I didn't think she was going to say yes. But there was a level of vengeance, yeah, the way she did it at the wedding. Because she was plotting that. That is not a spontaneous thing. Yeah, you don't do that out of spontaneity. She was plotting that the whole time, for a couple. She wrote that thing down. She had the speech ready to unload on the guy. Yeah, and I was mad. I can't even lie. That was a brazy move from her. Now producers knew what they were doing, and then she was like the Hershey story, right at the very end. So they were like, we ain't even gonna show it to the contestants. We're gonna wait after because we know the Twitter beef gonna be legendary. They were like, oh, love it. What's the season before? What's it called? with what's his name? Um, I don't even know what his name is. His name is something. The guy that was super smiley, always looked like he was on a bit of a. He looked like he was on something all the time. Um, did I elaborate this? Good. Um, yeah, there was a couple good ones. Yeah. Or the one of the ones I loved is I don't remember what his name was. It was like Jared. It was with like Jared and like some other dude. I don't know if you've seen the season before. And it was like the dude was like he said no to her at the wedding day, but as the day before the marriage, this was dude was like my fiance is hot like Beyonce. Like he got a whole like ukulele and was singing up and doing up a whole song. And I was like, this dude is in love, and they were crying. Then on the wedding day, he's like, you know what, I'm alright. I was like, that's that's mad. That's mad. That's crazy. And then it was with Zay and this girl, that girl. Um, and then the one dude left his girl to be with the other girl. No, I'm thinking of a different show. It's not Love Is Blind. I'm thinking of the Ultimatum. Have you seen that? You must have seen it. I know it's from the it's the same like same people that do it. I know you've seen the Ultimatum no more. You don't have to lie to me. I know you've seen it. But just so I know I'm not crazy, just confirm to me that you've seen it. But you would have seen it. If you've not seen it, it's juicier than Love Is Blind. It's mad. Oh, it's a juicy, juicy, juicy one. Nah, I wouldn't even like level of juiciness in that one is serious. Serious level of juiciness. Oh no, ma. You don't even know. No, ma. Drop everything. Drop everything. If you have a girlfriend, break up with them. And if they want to see you, just break up with everything. Drop everything. Throw away your laptop. Throw away your PC. Get your TV on, and just don't leave that. Oh, basically, let me give you a premise here. I'm basically selling the show. Let me give you a premise. So it's set in America. No, I'm joking. So basically, couples, these couples, they come to this thing basically because one of them wants to get married and the other one doesn't, right? Or isn't ready for whatever reason, whether it's financial, just time, all this stuff, blah blah blah. But one of them does want to get married, right? Literally, you got to do it all. So one of them does want to get married. The other person does not want to get married. Now, the juicy part, the très juicy part, is that obviously one wants to get married, one doesn't want to get married. Is what it is. Then they basically switch couples. Like they meet up with people in the other couples, and they each pick a partner to switch with, right? And then they date the other couples people for a little bit, chat to them, whatever. Then they each pick a partner to switch with and do the experiment with. And when they switch, they're gonna be basically like in a relationship or married or engaged to the other person, and they are partners with someone else. And the aim is to basically be like at the end of the experience, does it make you realize? Are you then ready for a relationship? Does it make you realize you missed the person and want to be together? Or that they are lacking things that you want and you want to go your separate ways, and in the end you either get married or you go your separate ways, whatever it is. um that is the whole thing. It's the ultimate thing. The whole that makes no sense. The concept of it pretty stupid. Like it doesn't really make sense. Don't see how that could help the marriage whatsoever. But it's basically for you to figure out what you want, and if someone else, basically, it's to be like, is living with someone else gonna give you what you want and stuff like that. So whatever it is. Um, so if is there someone better for you? Blah blah blah. Whatever crap it is. I don't want to ruin it, but there's some juicy stuff that happens before they even pick their partner. I think the juiciest thing happens. The spiciest thing happens before they even pick their partner, because one guy does the biggest 180 I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy. Like he actually moves crazy. Oh, I can't even. I'm not gonna ruin it. You need to watch it though. It's juicy, 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 juicy. I hate myself right now. The fact that I like the show, I hate myself, but it's juicy. Just is juicy. Okay. I need to bloody put food in because I'm starving. Um, Give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna stick some food in. I'll be right back. In the meantime, watch this lovely video.
Team STORROR is a group of friends that grew up in the south of England that basically share a passion for parkour and adventure.
We happen to have a massively diverse range of skills that allows us to take on a lot of crazy projects.
Places we never would have gone without the team.
Doing parkour in skyscrapers in Asia,
Diving off bridges in Basel.
running away from monkeys in India.
We've jumped over Michael Bay.
Always thinking bigger, trying to be more creative, constantly looking for another adventure.
It kind of makes perfect sense for us to set our sights into the gaming world.
There's never been a project that has got us as excited as this one.
STORROR Parkour Pro is the first parkour game solely about parkour and its culture.
Connecting with your mates across the world, free roaming, multiplayer options.
On the starting line with like all of your mates to have some crazy race across town.
An open world exploration game where there'll be missions,
Training, doing new challenges.
Evading security.
time trials.
Massive roof gaps, slides through flumes, huge wall runs.
Become immersed to a level at which you actually feel like you're a part of this sport.
We want to build into the game the most ambitious animation technology,
Taking the motion capture to a whole new level.
completely fluid so that it feels exactly like you're doing parkour in real life.
People always say, I really want to be able to do this, or I would love to be able to try parkour.
There'll be a process of kind of character progression, learning the skills and abilities that you need.
Through the tutorials, sharing techniques.
That's it.
Our goal is to make STORROR Parkour Pro the most progressive urban sports game ever.
The effect that this could have on the parkour community is similar to what the Tony Hawk's franchise did for skateboarding. And having a parkour game on major consoles is going to completely change the sport.
Team STORROR is a group of friends that grew up in the south of England that basically share a passion for parkour and adventure.
We happen to have a massively diverse range of skills that allows us to take on a lot of crazy projects.
Places we never would have gone without the team.
Doing parkour in skyscrapers in Asia,
Diving off bridges in Basel.
running away from monkeys in India.
We've jumped over Michael Bay.
Always thinking bigger, trying to be more creative.
Constantly looking for another adventure.
It kind of makes perfect sense for us to set our sights into the gaming world.
There's never been a project that has got us as excited as this one.
STORROR Parkour Pro is the first parkour game solely about parkour and its culture.
Connecting with your mates across the world, free roaming, multiplayer options.
On the starting line with like all of your mates to have some crazy race across town.
An open world exploration game where there'll be missions,
Training, doing new challenges.
Evading security.
time trials.
Massive roof gaps, slides through flumes, huge wall runs.
Become immersed to a level at which you actually...
Okay. Oh, I actually have food. Quickly do a 30-second round. Oof. Ooh, roast easy. Nice, okay. I mean, that sequence there is just mwah. Get the full there. So that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna grab some food and then I shall stream again. I shall catch you guys in un poco loco. I have no clue what that means. Sweet. I enjoyed that. Noma, go watch an episode of The Ultimatum. Simple as that. See you in a sec, guys.